I shouldn't put this as my background here. I'm moving my cursor up and down. All those things to do. Eek. Well, I do some blogs and videos. I'm doing a video right now. Yay! I need to narrate. Oh my gosh. Words, and I haven't written words for wills. Oh my goodness, for a couple of days. Keywords, that's ongoing. Yeah. I shouldn't have. I'll lean in front of it, and you can see the artwork, and that's better. No? Can you hear me? I made a video just the other day, and my Apple adapter that I've had for years and years and years quit working. And it was really felt good. The video felt smooth and it was fun. And okay, so here we are again. And this video is going to give you 6 ways to find my reader or your reader at a live event. You're, face to face with your reader for your books, for my books, right? I was just at that an event Friday. This is Monday, and I spoke at a senior center, a local senior center, and it was really fun. And you can tell who's responding because some people are just their eyes are locked on you, and some people are like, you could tell, I wish I would have stayed home or whatever, right? So when I'm at a live event, like I sell books at our state fair for our Nebraska Writers Guild. I can sell my books. I promote the guild. Wonderful, wonderful setup. And here's the big. It's in a big arena, so there's lined up booths, and then there's a great big wide aisle, and then there are booths on the other side, and it just keeps on going and going, right? And so lots of people go through. Sometimes there's some dead spots when nobody's around, but as they walk through, you can kind of tell how that person, how to approach that person, right? So here's my table of books, and maybe another author's table of books next to me. And as they're walking by, they're glancing at what you have, just as they do all across the booths. And some will glance at your books and edge over as far away as possible, far away from your booth, from your books as possible, right? Oh my goodness. So I don't run after them and approach them because I know from their response, right? There's a bug in front of me, that they are not my reader. In fact, they're probably not anybody's reader because they're running away from a book table. Does that make sense? But if they kind of, oh, books, and kind of slow down, you can kind of tell their pace slows down and they're kind of looking all the books over, and it's like, oh, hi. I can greet them then. The other people I greet, but these people, yeah, this is like book 2, it's like, or this is point 2, I guess I should say. So I ask them, I was like, well, or I tease them actually, hey, you must be a reader because you didn't run away when you saw this table of books, right? So then they grin and they say, well, I do like to read. And, then here's the third thing that you can ask them. Well, what genre do you like to read? Some people will say, oh, I read everything. And maybe they do, but they have their favorites. You can find out. So everything, what's on your to be read pile right now? You can ask them. And they might have a couple on that pile, or they might just say, I'm reading this one right now, and we can kind of talk about what genre that might be, whether it's romance or horror or thriller, whatever, right? And so we can kind of pare down we can pare down their interests, I guess, their favorite. uh, genre, their favorite thing to read, right? So that kind of pares it down from running away from the book table, right, to, oh, being slightly interested and looking over everything to bringing them in and starting a conversation. Does that make sense? I think, and I love that because then at a certain point, you can kind of tell where it's like, oh, yay, but these don't look like mine or whatever. And they either want to catch up with their people, that went beyond them, went ahead of them, or they just don't want to buy any books or whatever. You can kind of begin to tell and to kind of narrow it down. Okay. So then book number 4 is then I begin to pitch my books. Okay, so once we've kind of narrowed it down and they said, well, I like fantasy or, I'm a Christian. So then I know from sorry, I'm stuttering, from experience that, I can start telling them about my books because, oh, really? Well, I write Christian contemporary fantasy, and so then I define it. So Christian, maybe you know what that is, and I chuckle. Word definitions have changed in the last few years, right? And they'll, yeah, really, and so Christian you get. Well, then I just tell them contemporary just means that my characters drive cars and have phones just like you and I do, right? And they get that. And then the fantasy part is, oh, that's my favorite part. And I think I've said this before on another video. That's my favorite part. What's going on in the invisible world? What are those angels and demons up to, right? And either they'll, or they'll, oh, right? So you can kind of judge by their expression and by their response. It's like, is that sounding good? But then also, if they're still, oh, then I'll say, well, book 1 is about this 80-year-old guy, 60 years in prison, and he is getting kicked out of a prison to a nursing home, which is another prison. And it's in the town where the crime was committed and where he grew up, and he repeatedly escapes from the nursing home to explore the town, and he's confronted with all of his memories, bad and good, until he meets a little girl, little 4-year-old girl named B-E-A. And at that point, if they haven't shut you down, or if they're going, oh, that sounds really good, or something, some positive response to your pitch, then you can go on a little bit more with, well, the little girl's mommy, her name is Caddy, she's been abused, is abusive, is addicted, and post-abortive. And I tell my readers that my readers say my books are gritty, with some of these tropes, but I want my reader to be safe in telling you all of that. And at that point, you can really read their face like, oh, I maybe not. And they're backing away. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe they're inching in going, yeah, that's me, that is me, and that's how I pitch my books. Then you can go on to the rest of them. I've got 6 so far in my series, plus some nonfiction, but you can tell, this is, I think, number 6. If they begin to look away and maybe pretend, some of them you can tell when they're pretending like, I want to get out of here. I don't want this. Or they are truly looking, hey, wait for me, people have gone on ahead, then you can tell. It's like, oh, can I give you a bookmark? I should have gotten one out here to pretend, right? But then, and they'll say, oh, yes, yeah, that'd be fine. And I'll tell them on my bookmark, well, this is how to contact me. That's my website, bonnielacey.com. And everything is for sale there in case you change your mind. Today they're for sale here, and I'll tell them, well, sometimes there's some bundle prices, in a live event. There always are a bundle price of my books anyway, and I'll tell them, but they're to be signed. You can buy them and sign, get them signed today, but look on my website, see what you think, and enjoy the bookmark. And that's basically it. That's how I find my reader or not. Not everybody's your reader. Not everybody's my reader, right? Sometimes, everybody reads different stuff, right? Thanks for listening. And again, my name is Bonnie Lacey. I'm an author, old lady of faith that writes books. And if you liked what you heard, if you'd like to hear more, please hit subscribe and like below. Leave a comment. What's your favorite genre? How do you feel like the way I, pitch and find my reader at a live event? How do you do it? Give me some tips. All right? I hope you're having a good day. God bless.